Welcome to Rukahia, the home of the Pioneer Research Program. This is one of the many sites around the country where we try Pioneer maize hybrids to ensure growers have the finest quality seed for their operation. The research program involves a number of stages in getting hybrids into the market, and we'd like to take you on a virtual tour of how we provide the right product for the right paddock.
Every year you may read about the new Pioneer brand maize hybrids available for the coming growing season. There's a lot of information about each one, but have you ever thought about the process the hybrids go through before they are released to the market? Just like an actor auditioning for a big role, each hybrid has to pass many tests before they make it onto the agricultural stage. Most fall by the wayside, some make the audition, and a few become outright stars. Whatever their fate, the driving philosophy behind the research program is always striving for stability and performance. This is when you can have the confidence that a given hybrid is the right product for the right paddock. Let's take a look behind the scenes.
First, we look at how we choose which hybrids to test and the planning of trials for the coming season.
From October to May each year, Pioneer's Maize Product and Research Manager works with Pioneer maize breeders all over the world to identify experimental hybrids to test here. Whether they end up as cornflakes or a nutritional cow feed, the aim is to find hybrids which perform better than the ones in the current range.
We look for hybrids that will help boost profitability for maize growers. Things we take into account include maturity, disease resistance, drought tolerance, yield stability, and intended end use. The quality requirements for grain for food and silage for dairy cows are quite different, yet both vitally important. It's a painstaking process. Every year we wipe the slate clean and start again, looking for the next generation of hybrids that will be most effective for New Zealand growers. For every 10 hybrids we bring in, only one will end up on the market. The average commercial life of a hybrid is about 5 years, so we are always after new hybrids to commercialise.
A large number of hybrids are selected for testing in each maturity group for grain and silage. This ensures a balanced set of experimental and commercial hybrids for each growing region and end use. By August, they have arrived, so the Pioneer team plan how the research program will roll out. They look at how and where to plant the various experimental hybrids and include a number that performed well the previous year but need more testing, plus a selection of commercially available hybrids for comparative purposes. The unique growing environments throughout New Zealand are taken into account too. Most grain trials, for example, take place in the North Island, while silage trials are more widespread, going as far south as Oamaru. Later maturing hybrids will be tested in Northland, earlier ones in Canterbury and Southland.
The next stage of the Pioneer Research Program is the impact trials.
All hybrids start off as an impact trial, with the successful hybrids then going on to a series of PAT trials. Impact stands for Intensively Managed Product Advancement, Characterization and Training. These trials test the newest hybrids in about 50 locations, with a wide geographic spread. In September, thousands of packets of seed are planted in sequence into individual plots using pneumatic 4-row research plot planters which have GPS guidance to ensure precision.
A close eye is kept on the results of the impact trials, with the best performing hybrids advancing to PAT trials the following season.
Several hundred PAT tests take place on growers' farms around the country. After consulting with contractors and growers to choose which paddocks and when to plant, our field technicians use commercial equipment to set up each on-farm strip trial. All of the annual trials are developed by the research team, who then hand the plans to the research manager for implementation. Planting is completed by early November, and then the constant monitoring begins.
Monitoring the trials throughout the season is important to make sure that all trait characteristics are noted to make sure the hybrid will suit New Zealand's growing environment.
The impact trials are managed intensively by the Pioneer research team, with fertiliser applied and weeds controlled. Every hybrid is evaluated for agronomic traits, including emergence, early growth, disease resistance, lodging, drought tolerance, and whether they're best suited for silage or grain. For the PAT tests, normal management is applied in cooperation with the growers and contractors. The Pioneer field team keep a close eye on the plots and record the views of the growers. This stage is like the shop window for new hybrids almost ready to go on sale.
The hybrids start to develop their own distinctive personality, depending on how and where you use them. It's important to get out in the field and see how they are behaving in growers' paddocks. Appearance is very important. I look at the trial plot and ask, if I had 20 hectares of this hybrid, how happy would I be? The next step is the harvesting of trials and the analysis of the results. These results are analysed against a number of key traits, and the results then are released to the market.
The moment of truth arrives with the advent of harvest, with silage hybrids harvested from mid-February to mid-April and grain hybrids in April and May. Extensive data from the impact trials is collected electronically via the grain combine and silage chopper. Over at the PAT trials, field technicians harvest the silage plants by hand, noting the weights of each plot and sending dry matter samples to the Pioneer Maize Research Station in Rukahia, near Hamilton Airport. The grain PAT plots are combined using contractor's gear and GTL's weigh wagon, with the moisture, weight and quality recorded. The PAT farmers receive their own trial results and get to keep the grain they've grown. The data from all the trials is centrally loaded, a process which runs from March to June, with the information verified and summarised for each growing region to give an overview of the comparative yield performance of key hybrids. After this intense scrutiny, the results are publicly revealed: silage in June, grain in July.
Individual trial results are sent to trial cooperators that show which hybrids have performed best in their paddock. After harvest, we develop a profile for each hybrid by looking at several years of results at many locations within a growing region and look at whether they are better than currently available hybrids. We then start production of the seed at our Gisborne seed production facility, which will be available to plant the following spring.
Meanwhile, all the research is presented online and in the annual Grain and Silage Hybrid Performance and Positioning publications, with the results regionalised and comparisons made between hybrids of similar maturity. These publications are sent to growers, contractors, merchants and industry players, giving them the information they need to deliver the right product for the right paddock. By July, the new higher performing hybrids are ready to hit the market, allowing the thousands of maize growers across New Zealand to begin planting and enjoying greater yields than ever before.
Thanks for following us through our research program. We hope you understand how passionate we are about ensuring we have the finest Pioneer maize hybrids so growers get consistently high yields.